I'm Jenny, and I'm really happy and excited to be part of this series for Gamut Theater, this online talent show. I was a core company member for Gamut from 2005 to 2006, and since then I have been involved on and off in different productions. So this is very cool. As you know, a lot of theaters are struggling now, and Gamut is no different. So if you are able to, if you could donate, gamuttheater.org/donate, it would be very much appreciated. But today I'm going to show you how to make your very own sourdough starter. I've been making my own bread for a few months now, and I got really into sourdough, and so I'm happy to share my process, and I hope that it's successful for you. You only need a few things, and with that, we'll get started. Okay, so this is all you need. You need a kitchen scale, you need flour. I like to use this rye flour, but you can use any kind of flour, and water that is a little bit warm. I just make it a little warm on the tap, and so when I touch it, it doesn't really feel warm to the touch. It doesn't really feel like anything. So okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my container, and you can use a mason jar or anything to hold it that has a lid. So I'm going to put this on the scale, and I'm going to turn it on and zero it out. So you want to make sure that when you put the pot on the scale that it's at 0. And then you're going to measure out 25 grams of flour. You get to that pretty quickly. So just take your time. Okay, and then 25 grams of water. Zero it out. This whole process should take about 5 days. It depends on how warm your house is. I try to keep the house at about 70 degrees. I find that temperature gets me the best amount of activity. 25. And then mix it up. What you're looking for is bubbles, and for it to about double in size, and then at that point it's ready to leaven bread. You don't have to do, I don't know how much you know or have read about making sourdough, but there's a lot of videos out there that'll tell you to use a float test and all this stuff. I just never really bothered with that. I don't have time for that. So if it's making bubbles and it doubles in size, it's ready to go. We'll put that in there, and we'll put the lid on, and then we will revisit it. We will revisit it again at this time tomorrow. Welcome to day 2. So we're going to do today the exact same thing that we did yesterday. We're going to add 25 grams of flour and 25 grams of water. I'll show this to you. So you can see there's nothing really that looks any different from the way that it looked yesterday, which is to be expected. And if you smell it at this point, it just smells really grassy. it's not going to smell yeasty yet, which is what we're waiting for. But these things take time. We're making something that's going to live forever, so we'll give it a little bit of patience. So we will put this on the scale and we'll zero it out. And we'll add our 25 grams of flour. This is called a feeding, by the way. We're going to feed it. We are making a living thing after all. All right, there's 25 grams of flour. We will zero it out again. Go really slow because it's almost impossible to take out just water. Okay, good enough. So we'll stir it around. The reason we want to weigh it instead of measure it is because we want 100% hydration on the flour, and we're going to get the most accurate measurement if we weigh the flour and the water. So we're going to mix that up, and then we're going to just set it and wait, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Welcome to day 3. So here, if you can see, there are some bubbles. So that's a good sign. We have signs of life, signs of activity. Very exciting. So it hasn't doubled in size yet. So we're looking for that as our clue that it's ready, but this is definitely a good sign and a great place to be at the end of day 2, beginning of day 3. One thing I think I did forget to mention is you want to do your feedings at around the same time every day. We're doing this evening after dinner. Sorry if you're hearing stuff in the background, it's a busy house. So I'm gonna do another feeding. Again, it's gonna be the same thing that we've been doing, 25 grams of flour, 25 grams of water. We're gonna mix it up, set it overnight, and come back again around 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow for day 4. So I also smelled it. It does smell a little bit different. It's still a little bit grassy, but not as grassy as it was. So we'll give it another stir. Now, my container here is big enough that we don't have to throw away any of the starter. I think the only reason that you would need to do that is if you were feeding for 6 days, 7 days, still no signs of life, and your container was getting really full, in which case you would throw some away. But this recipe that I found for starter doesn't have you discarding any of it. So hopefully you won't need to. Mix it up really well. To keep an eye on its size, we want to see it double, and sometimes that can be hard to eyeball. So you can put a rubber band around it. I couldn't find a rubber band. This is a hair tie from one of my daughters. just gonna use that. So I'm just gonna put it around, and that way I can see tomorrow if it has risen at all. Hello, so we are at the end of day 3, beginning of day 4. So today there are not very many bubbles. There's just a few. So it actually looked a little better yesterday, but that's okay. It's all perfectly normal, so we're gonna give it another feeding. And then hopefully tomorrow we see some more activity. I'm gonna try playing with the temperature in my house a little bit. We turn off the air conditioning. It's still set at 70, but maybe where I have it placed, it's getting too much cold air. The warmer, the better. So I'll just try making it a little warmer in here. See if that doesn't help. Hey everybody, so this is the beginning of day 6, so end of day 5. I didn't record yesterday because nothing really changed. I literally did the same thing that I did from day 2 onward. 25 grams of flour, 25 grams of water. So I didn't record that day. But today, it looks like we are good to go. It's risen for sure. I don't know that it's technically doubled, but that's okay. There are a couple of other clues. It has puffed up for sure. So we can definitely see that that has happened because of where my band is. And this is what has happened since yesterday. And it also, I mean, you can just see all of the bubbly activity in there. And also the smell. It smells like yeast. It doesn't smell so grassy anymore. So those are your clues. You don't have to do a float test or anything else you may have heard of. This is ready to go. This is ready to make bread. So congratulations, you've made your own yeast, and now you're ready to make delicious sourdough bread.